All right, so rationalizing the denominator. If you remember from the last lesson, I told you some questions here. Oop, where did they go? I finished off with two questions down here where I said you cannot leave a square root in the denominator. So this is what we're going to deal with today, is how do you actually get rid of that square root in the denominator? So we're going to do something like this. So if I've got the square root of a on the bottom, I need to get rid of it, and it's going to change to look something like this, and then simplify if possible. So let's try this here. So here we go. We got root 7 over root 35. Remember, we can combine this into a single root. So 7 over 35. As such, we divide this. We end up with the square root of 1 over 5. Again, simplify that. The root of 1 just stays as 1 up top, and I'm left with square root of 5 at the bottom. This is not okay. We cannot keep the square root of some number at the bottom. So what you're going to have to do is, I'm going to take this and I'm going to multiply by whatever the square root of the bottom is times the square root of the same thing on top. Again, by multiplying by this, I'm just multiplying by 1. So it doesn't make a big difference. The reason I do this now, I can multiply the top. I get root 5 over root 5 times root 5 is just root 5 squared, which is 5. So this now eliminates the square root in the denominator. We don't want that, so we're going to have this. And that's the gist of section C. So yes, I left an entire set of notes just for this, because the next one's practice, right? Yep. So this will give you a little bit of a chance to catch up if you haven't done so. Let's try this one. So we can write this out in a single square root, root 7 over 56. Simplify this out. Again, looking at 56 divided by 7. So we get square root of 1 over 8. As such, when I multiply this out, square root of 1 is just 1. So I get 2 times 1 over 3 times the denominator, which is root 8. Okay, two steps I could do at this point. Either I multiply the top and the bottom by square root of 8. However, I can simplify this. Remember, we always want to simplify whenever possible before we do some extenuating operation here. So 2 times 3, root 4 times root 2. Basically, whenever you're in a question and you realize you can simplify something, do it. Just right off the bat. Don't even hesitate to simplify a root at all. Just simplify it right off the bat. And notice here, I've got 2 on the top and square root 4 on the bottom. Square root 4 is 2, so this cancels. And what I'm left with is 1 over 3 root 2. So that makes our lives a little bit easier, but I still need to get rid of that root. So times the top and the bottom by root 2. So I end up with root 2 up top divided by 3 times root 2 squared. I'm going to show the step for this process. And from there, root 2 up top. Root 2 squared is just 2 times 3 gives you 6. So this would be the final answer that you would get. So just work your way through it. Don't try and skip steps. Skipping steps is where mistakes occur. Try and just work all the way through it. I'm going to do letter E here. So I'm going to see what I can take out of these first. So from the top, I recognize I can take out root 9 over 2 divided by, and I can also take out from the bottom in 9. This is convenient. Take out a root 9, and I'm left with root 8. So notice here, Yes, I could still take out a root 4. However, I got rid of the 9's first because I can cancel those out. If you recognize you could factor out an 18 or a 36, and that's a perfect square, you could do that. I didn't notice it right away. You don't have to notice it right away. It's okay. So 6 root 2 over negative 5. Again, I can factor this out. Root 4 times root 2. Oh, and this one's got some nice stuff. I can cancel out the root 2's. So I end up with 6 divided by negative 5 times root 4, which is just 2, so negative 10. And then simplify this. Goes negative 3 over 5. That one actually simplified a lot nicer than I thought. So again, when you are doing a test and you have this, it's kind of convenient for you because you could just plug this into the calculator and figure out what the final answer is. I am aware of this, so I'm going to make sure that if there's any steps in the middle that just don't make sense, you just straight up get a 0. So please, please, please work your way through it and then get to the final answer and then double check. Don't just plug it into your calculator right away and work your way backwards. You're never going to be able to guess this. So try and work your way through it from front to back, top to bottom, and then double check your answer at the end. I'm going to leave these other ones. You can give those a try, and I'm going to just leave this and make this video a little bit shorter so you don't have as much to watch tonight.